Hey, a couple things about this game. Saturday, 1 o'clock. Kind of quick hits for our fans and our students. Santa Claus, you might have heard of him from the North Pole. He's coming to Lubbock, and he's going to be on the concourse before this game for families and children and photo ops and all that. I'll try to get Mark Adams up there with him so you can kind of get your bang for your buck, get a Christmas picture with Mark Adams and a picture with Santa Claus. He'll be on the concourse. Also appreciate everybody's help. Sometimes change is hard, right? To have growth and progress, you have to make changes, and there's a fine line between respecting everything in the past and tradition, but also kind of setting your own path. I've been so appreciative of administration, our fan base, our players, everybody here as we've tried to build the program, to the next level. That being said, we're going to start, and I support this in the administration and the marketing. We're going to try to start a new tradition and get our fan base to stand at the start of both halves, a rise up tradition. They do this at a lot of the great basketball programs around the country, and we're certainly trying to get into that neighborhood or stay in that neighborhood with consistency. So, I'm personally asking our fans to open their minds and hearts a little bit and try something new. We'll try to stand at the jump ball, and we'll remain standing until the opponent scores their first basket. And that'd be a huge help for us as we continue to try to build one of the best home court advantages in all of college basketball. At the start of the second half, we'll try to do the same thing, rise up tradition, and just appreciate everybody's willingness to help on that. If you've got the one or two kind of moody people in your section that don't want to do it, then I just ask that you send them directly to Mark Adams, and he'll handle those complaints and issues. A thank you again to our season ticket holders. Tickets are being scanned right now at an all-time high. We can always do a little bit better, but I want to start by just saying thank you. On the nights that you can't come to the games, which we all understand, holidays, family, friends, work responsibilities, church, I get it. But if you could just take the extra time and effort to give your tickets to people and make sure your seats are scanned, this will help us build the program to the point where we have this home court advantage we need to be competitive in the Big 12. Also with the students, so appreciative of the student attendance. I know this is semester break right now, but we do have a lot of Tech students that are in this area, West Texas and Eastern New Mexico. Maybe some Tech students are still here in town. It's a normal game. Students get in free. You've got the primetime seating right there on the baseline. The Kentucky promo, if you've missed a game, to get that perfect attendance, which will assure you a ticket at the Kentucky game. This is a makeup game. So this is a valuable game for you to come and get back on track for the Kentucky incentive. Appreciate you guys, as always, with your patience as we go through some of these program things. This game Saturday at 1 o'clock, it's an important game for all sorts of reasons. Have a lot of respect for this opponent. I do not like playing and competing with friends, but sometimes in basketball, the both schedules, games make sense. Lou is a really good coach, somebody that all of us that grew up in Texas and have coached in this part of the country respect him for everything he's done. He was an assistant coach in our league, was a great player, and now he's building a program at the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. Last year, one of the best seasons in school history, 20-win mark. This year he has another team that's going to be very, very competitive in their conference. He does a great job. Also, the athletic director at this school, Chase Conk, was my athletic director at Little Rock, was somebody that believed in me when many didn't, gave me my first opportunity, which is really something that I'll always cherish. And so Chase is going to be here as the athletic director with the team and Lou and these guys. So it's a game that I don't really enjoy playing because there's so much respect on both sides of the benches. But sometimes in competition you have to play people like this. I like their team. They have depth. They have great guard play. It's going to be a real challenge for our team. 1 o'clock Saturday.
Chris, where have you seen progress from your team throughout the season so far, defensively, specifically with switching?
Progress with switching. These questions are getting more and more technical basketball-wise. Kind of like this. Year one, it was like, hey, what kind of uniforms are we going to wear this year? Now we're talking about defensive tactics. Our defense, just like everything in our program, is kind of a work in progress. I think on the good side of the coin, we've shown the ability to be a good defensive team. We've had some spurts where, we appear to be worthy of being called one of the best defensive teams in college basketball, where we want to be. On the other side of the coin, you see our youth, our inexperience. We just haven't found that consistency yet. We've played well enough to win some games, but we certainly got to get better, is what I would say about our defense.
Notice his minutes have gone up the last 4 games. What specifically have you seen from him that's gotten him obviously more chances on the hardwood?
Twofold. One, he's deserving of this. Avery was a good player as a freshman. We made the decision to redshirt him. He's a big part of that Elite Eight team. You guys know, in games there might be 8, 9 players play, but it's a team sport. Those guys that are getting it done in practice every day are the reason why you have a good team or a great team or a championship team. So Avery was great for us as a freshman. Last year as a redshirt freshman, he got his opportunity to get on the court. He was big, played down the stretch. We used him in the Big 12 rotation some and had a really good offseason. Now he's earned the right to be playing in these games. Also, opportunity comes in different forms. With Ramsey being out for a few games, this has given some guys an opportunity, and Avery's made the most of it.
I know you kind of mentioned you didn't talk to your team much after that last game. I guess what was the biggest learning lesson for these young guys about that grinded out game against Southern Miss, where you were able to obviously get the win, but obviously you weren't pleased with the performance?
Yeah, we've talked to our team a lot about it. I think after the game, you kind of want to make sure that you have your mind right and watch the tape and make sure you understand exactly what you're telling your players, especially when you have a young team. So the next day, all the way up until this morning, we've continued to try to learn through that adversity. Fortunate for us, the adversity came in the form of a win against a team that I think is going to be really good in their conference. We'll see how it plays out. I think I've predicted a few of these things. I think UTEP's pretty good this year. That would be one example. And, I think Creighton and DePaul and Iowa are worthy. So we'll just kind of see how it plays out. I think Southern Miss is a good team. But certainly with our team, just the growth process, trying to be mature and experienced and tough enough to win through adversity, but also win through success. And it's just the same old thing, Carlos. We just got to get more consistent. Even in that game, we see a lot of good things. Our free throw shooting was excellent in our last win, but our field goal shooting wasn't. That's a great example of just the consistency. Certainly as the Big 12 play looms in February and March near, you've got to get to where you excel in almost all areas. And right now we're still just like most teams trying to find consistency.
With some of the guys, the way that they've been playing with Terrence Shannon and TJ Holyfield, I guess what have you kind of seen from those two guys in terms of their growth with their offensive games?
Yeah, well, those two players specifically, to answer that question, TJ Shannon continues to be, kind of a work in progress. I think the best thing about him is he has this willingness to be coached. He has a willingness to listen and make changes. You tell some players, hey, I think the jump stop would help you for these reasons. Some players fight you for a month, a year, a career, a season. Some players are open to it pretty quickly. And, for example, Norrance was one of the best I've ever been around. We give Norrance some things. He's a prideful guy. He's a smart guy, but he would study it. And once he understood, done. He makes the change. And TJ has shown that ability. We've improved some things in his game, and he deserves all the credit because he's the one taking the coaching. But that's a great quality to have as a basketball player, to be able to identify weaknesses and then work on them. With Holyfield, he's just such a talented guy. I was just trying to get him to be his best each night. And when he is his best, I think we can play with anybody in the country. When he's not his best, it's a void. We're just not going to be the team we can be unless he plays well. He's a mature guy. He's a tough guy. He takes hard coaching. Holyfield understands he has 2.5, 3 months left in his college career. These games, these practices, these weeks, these months are going to dictate in a lot of ways where his career goes. And he's definitely a pro. Whether he starts at A or D or L in terms of the levels, these 2.5 months are going to have a lot to do with that. So he feels the urgency. I feel the urgency. He works at it. Nobody wants to play well more than Holyfield. So it's nice to be able to coach guys like that care.
I know you kind of alluded to it with Avery, but I guess who else have you kind of seen kind of grab that opportunity with those extra minutes with Meyers out so far?
Well, I think everybody, like, we have a unique team, right? I think we had, 10 active players the other night, and all 10 are in the rotation. You know, Mac has done some good things, continues to look for consistency. It's a guy that really didn't have an off season because of injuries in his body. It's not an excuse. It's the reality. He's continuing to work. And each individual workout or each practice Mac has is a step in the right direction. I think Clarence has shown some things. I like all these young guys, and I think, opportunity comes in different forms. Dre and Russ, as the schedule changes and we play against teams with more big guys, Russ is right there. He's close. And Dre's played some good games. Obviously his start in the was it Creighton game maybe, where he kind of got going, and he's been playing well since then. So, I remain confident with all the players on the roster. We really haven't narrowed this down even to a rotation yet, which is a promising thing because everybody is good enough to play.
For me, I guess, is Jemias any closer to getting to the floor or anything, or have you heard anything different?
Yeah, I'm hopeful he'll play in this next game, just like I was hopeful he would play in the last game. So he's continuing to do everything he can do. And then we continue to communicate with the doctors and the trainers. And once we're told that he's 100% in terms of his recovery, he's back out there. Might not be 100% in terms of ready to play because he hadn't played in a while. But as soon as we get to that 100% mold in terms of the rehab, then he's good to go. I'm hopeful he'll play in the next game, but I don't know.
Let me give you an easy question. Where do you think you are now analyzing your 4-1 philosophy with this basketball team?
Yeah, mental toughness is something we talk about all the time. I think we're a work in progress. I don't think we're ready to go compete and win a championship, but I think we've shown the ability, if we keep getting better, we could be. We've had some spurts this year where the mental toughness was there. Southern Miss, great example. You find yourself in a one-possession game at home. The pressure kind of shifts to the home team. I thought we were mentally tough. We played well the last 3 minutes. Seen some other times this year where maybe we get fatigued and we're not tough. That's mental toughness. Everybody gets physically tired, and that's where mental toughness kicks in. So just like everything, I've seen good, I've seen concern. We're a work in progress. I'm optimistic, though, we could become a tough team mentally because, I believe in those 3 returners and those 2 seniors.
Where are you with Tariq right now?
Tariq is rehabbing from his injury. We're doing good. We got him off the crutches. He's in the walking boot now. That allows him to do a little bit more conditioning, a little bit more form shooting stuff. The first step is you got to get off those crutches. Then you got to get off that, what's it called, that little scooter. And once you get off that scooter, now you're in the boot and you're moving around. So he's been doing well, especially for a young guy. He's been locked in terms of preparation and trying to stay engaged. He's at practice every day. I think sometime around the new year in January is when that boot might come off, and then we'll see.